Is it still the morning? No, lost it. Well, yeah. So started week 2. Yeah, we had a good first 4 days. I appreciated the progression that we had. Um, there's a little bit of just knocking the rust back off last week, but was really happy with the way these guys operated throughout last week. Had an off day yesterday to catch our breath, move into the hotel, and got back on the field today. So day 5, looking forward to it, getting closer to real football and real body aches, and that's when we're going to thrive. So, but huge week for us. We know that. We've talked about that. We know exactly when the first game is. We know where we're at in that process, and full focus is on this week right now. So, with that, I'll ask any questions.
Coach, we're going to speak to your quarterbacks. I wondered if you could speak about each of them. What do each of them do best? And could you tell us just a little bit about their personality, what kind of presence they have and on the field and off the field?
Yep. I would say Luke is, a guy that's, they both have similar traits, I would say, as far as people. They both give a lot about, give a crap factor about, their prep and on field and in command and being a leader. They know how important that is. They weren't all experts at it, when they arrived, so that's something they've been trying to work on together. I would say that, as far as studying the game and wanting to learn the game, they can't get enough ball. They love ball. I know they all have their own individual, mechanics and footwork that they're working through. I know Luke wanted to grow mechanically in his footwork, and you can ask him about that, but he's been improving on that. Makes a lot of throws really well, great ball placement. Then he'll have some that aren't in the routine play. So he gets frustrated on himself on that. Does a good job of letting that play go, moving on to the next, though. So it's always been a positive of his. So he's strong mentally, one of the most improved over the summer. I think he's up to 220 pounds now. He's gotten bigger, and there's a lot of positives. Mike, really, smooth with his motion, does a good job getting the ball out quick. Both guys are trying to make sure they perfect their decision making, when to go with the ball and when they put the ball in certain spots. Really trying to challenge these guys on ball location and understanding how important that is. Timing and footwork and location is really their main job description when it comes to the pass game. They also understand, and so does Mike, that they are a run game coordinator. So when we're making run play checks and we're changing things at the line of scrimmage, and he's ultimately the last say of protections. These guys, Mike included, are really trying to study to be experts at the game. So they really all do a great job in the meeting rooms, do a good job with their notes, and they're just trying to perfect the ability to take from meeting rooms to the field. Mike's does a good job of, creating when he gets out of the pocket. At times he's got to make sure he doesn't put the ball in jeopardy. When you get out of the pocket, that's a big thing of it. But a lot of positives. KJ Cooper. Really a smart student of the game. It's a shame that we didn't have him for spring. Really a big presence, big body, can see over the O-line really well. Does a good job with his mechanics. Still working on consistent ball location, but a smooth thrower of the football. Really smart, natural leader. A lot of really great things. And Jaden, does a great job in the meetings. He's trying to, do better, continue to take the meetings to the field. He's working on his footwork, working on a ball location, but a great job in the meeting rooms, and had a pretty good summer. So we have a good, healthy room. We have a good, healthy competition, I would say, with those first two guys. And but as a whole, they're a good group.
Hey, Coach, each of the players we met with last week, Wednesday and Friday, and also Grayson and Wyatt during media days, they always seem to mention AT. He's somebody, obviously, that you know well. What is it about Antonio that has really kind of appealed to the players, and your thoughts on him and the job that he's done? Because, again, obviously you've known him for a while.
Yeah, AT and Antonio. He's a very consistent individual, both how he acts, his emotions, and how he treats people. So you know what you're going to get every day. He's very matter of fact. It's more math than it is necessarily science. It's more about calling things out for what they are and not, the babying of people and all those kind of things. So the culture and the expectations and standards have been set. It's pretty clear from early on, and the more we've done it, the more it's kind of built volume and built body to our expectations and standards and culture. The word everyone uses. So we're nowhere near where we need to be, but I think that it is definitely progressing quickly in the right direction. So he's a huge part of that. We know that. In our opinion, our weight room, our strength and conditioning program, our head strength coach and his staff are so handle our players more than coaches ever do. So the reflection of them is real, and really proud of where he's at. Really proud that he's a new dad too, and handling that. So, but AT is doing a great job, and I can't thank that guy enough.
Coach, going into week 2, what's the biggest position battle that's heating up on offense and defense, one on each side, that's starting to really see some competition now?
I would say there's probably, a competition, everywhere. I think that, for me to point out one position or not, that would just be a little aimless. I think if you take one position away, you can't do anything on offense or defense. So, I would say, selfishly, I see some guys trying to compete and figure it out at wideout, who's going to step up. Obviously, the quarterbacks are competing. I think, the running back, we got a group of guys that are all doing a good job. So to have 3 or 4 guys that we feel great about, very empowering, but they also want to, be the one and the two. They all want to be the number one. So everyone's competing. I think that trying to figure out our best 5 and how that all fits is huge. I wouldn't say it's necessarily, left tackle, right tackle. It's going to be our best 5, and we'll do a good job of getting these guys ready for game day. Defensively, we have a lot of linebackers showing up with some really great depth. I think the D-line is really competitive too, especially internally with some guys that can really play. We're blessed in that. We have a lot of really good competition, and to really zero in on one or two would discredit the other one. So I can't do that.
Coach, what's the biggest difference in the program since when you inherited it to where it is now?
Biggest difference in the program since when I inherited it to where it is now. It's a full new staff, it's a full new roster. I would say that, I don't even know really what was inherited. So I think there were some great people that were here. I think we got a lot of guys that are still here, but I wouldn't view that as inheriting. I think these guys chose to stay and chose to see the bigger picture and then really set out on a mission to maximize the athletes we chose to put together on our roster. I would say that the roster-wise, I would say the growth, the amount of change we've seen from guys' daily habits and routine and thought process and how they operate and think and how they communicate, I would say has been really, really positive. And so, even, a lot of guys that were here last year, just the vast differences of just maybe mentality and how we're going about it and just how we do it. And it's all just different. So that'd probably be better a question for a guy that maybe, was here last year.
Throughout the offseason, you see, I'm sure, leaders emerge. Maybe you want to assign them at some point. Are you feeling good in that area?
Yeah, I don't want to assign leaders. Leaders earn their leadership. So, but guys are starting to, step up, and guys are, maybe not be a huge group of guys, but there is definitely some guys that are, earning their right to speak up when asked to. So, but it's definitely growing. It's definitely a positive for sure.
Coach, health-wise, injury-wise, could you give an update as to how the team is doing right now?
Nope. Any injury I have, I would never tell anybody. Everyone's pretty good. We're pretty blessed.
In the quarterback battle between Mike and Luke, how much consideration are you planning to give to their past experience that they might have brought into the program versus what you've seen from them so far?
Yeah, not very little, frankly. What they've done somewhere else is of note for sure. But if anything, it probably just helped them, speed up their process to get to this point. If it hasn't helped them to this point, it really isn't worth a whole lot in my mind. But, there is some consideration like, in the first time you're out there, but they both have that. So they both have been in the big lights. They've all been with big games. And so, frankly, I think it's pretty square when it comes to that situation.
And then you said they've been collaborating a lot, both love the game, doing a lot to learn more, understand. How have you seen them kind of help each other in that process?
Yeah, when one makes a play, when one makes a play, the other one celebrates. So like, there's not like this animosity or edge trying to seeking operation. They really are teammates first, which is great. A lot of credit to them and how they are wired and how they were raised. And we're just glad they're both here. And they're pushing each other to do a really good job. And they've both taken a great step. If they both haven't, you may have had a guy by now. But the fact they're both taking incredible steps keeps making it a competition.
Coach, you have C.J. Hicks here from Ohio State. Did you recruit him? And what's your observation on his experience at Ohio State and what led him to come here?
Did I recruit him? What do you mean?
Were you the one that was the first on to get him to come to Ohio State?
To Ohio State, no. I did not recruit him out of high school. He's an Ohio kid, went in high school, and I think that we had conversations. I've always loved CJ. I always had a relationship with CJ, the previous place I was at. But I think that he's a great player. If he's got a chance to, I think he's really trying to evolve as a man and grow up, off the field too. And not that it's bad, but just to think about things different and think more like a pro. And I think he's just really maximizing his routine, and he understands the opportunity he has, and he's trying to maximize his current role.
When you're a five-star like he was, it seems like if you're not like an All-American, people think, what happened? What's that been like for him to kind of come in with all that hubbub to Ohio State and then maybe, have it maybe not work in his favor and have to change schools? How's he kind of reacted to that?
Yeah, I think that, he didn't control whatever people want to, put on his name. Like, he just controls his day-to-day. So if people want to think what they want, they don't know a lot. So I think that, the importance is how CJ is, where he's at. He's always been hungry. He's always worked really hard. There's always an opportunity to maximize opportunities and not get frustrated. I think that, CJ's done a lot of really good. It just really hasn't gone over that edge where it was the right fit for both sides. I mean, in the end, the reality of all of it is, we don't, in my opinion, we don't play track and field. We don't run and have stopwatches and tape measures. Like, there's opinions in our sport. There's people think that someone's better, but it's not a whole lot of facts. It's just what people think as opinions. And so, just maybe it wasn't a fit previously, and I'm not going to speak on that, but I know he's a fit with us. I know the mentality's great, and I'm glad he's down here in Tampa.
Coach, you preached since the first day you were here about process over outcome. When the outcome's successful, but the process isn't right, how do you deal with that?
Oh, it's the best. When you're still getting what you want, but you're not doing it right, the opportunity to be amazing, to really hit levels is like what it's all about. Like, those that understand that are the best ones. So, to run a route or to have a play and have a pick, but just know you fell into it and got lucky because it was a terrible drop, or, you throw a touchdown pass, but like, it was a terrible ball location. My feet were terrible, but the wideout made a great catch, or vice versa. Like, terrible route, but the quarterback was on point. Just the ability to grow and to understand, like, oh, I made it, I've arrived. No, everything before the play was atrocious, but the fact the play was made has no correlation on how good it could have been done before the actual play was made. So I think we have some guys that are understanding that. I think that the more we understand that, the better we can get. And it's like, I love, the outcome, but man, could it have been better? Absolutely. If it could, then, if you have that mentality, there really isn't a ceiling. Yeah, thanks, guys.
How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, it's good. But I wanted more like my personality.
It's preseason after all.
Yeah.
How are you liking camp so far?
I feel like it's been great. The people out here have been great. People on this campus have been amazing. So, I mean, I couldn't really ask for a better transition, honestly.
Michael, could before we speak about USF, could you speak about the places you've been, what went right, what went wrong, and what led you to to leave?
I was previously coming from LSU, and everybody knows the situation that happened there, and I just felt like it wasn't the right fit for me. So, I entered the portal and weighed out my options and felt like USF was just the best opportunity. Had the best. I feel like I was going to be developed the best. I had the best opportunity, so that's what I chose.
And Mike, a common thread between you and Luke is the Mississippi State. Can you talk about the relationship that you two have developed here at USF?
It's been great. He pushed me every day. I push him every day. We just, out here trying to be the best we can be, for the team. The main goal is, for the team to be successful. So, we both trying to, push each other because, as everybody knows, team goes, the quarterback goes, and, we trying to be the best we can be for them. So, we just out here to serve them.
Let me hit this right. There we go. Summer in Baton Rouge, summer in Tampa. What's the difference between working out in the Bayou and now working out down here at the coast?
It's honestly not too much different. It's hot in both places, but this is what you sign up for. This is what you got to prepare for. This is why you hydrate. This is why we run sprints in the summer. This is why you just do all the things necessary so you come out and be the best you can be, even with the heat.
We talked to Coach Beck the other day, and he said it's about putting you guys in the right position to hit the right player. In other words, it's pretty simple. Just do your job. How do you think the offense rolls with you? How do you think it could be successful with you?
I just feel like I can, whatever they ask me to do, that's what I'm going to do. I can do whatever coach, puts it, whatever the play he calls, it's my job to execute it to, my best of abilities. And I feel like I could do, anything, honestly. So, that's really it.
And one more, Coach Hartline said that you're also kind of like the run game observer and coordinator. How effective is your run game, and how effective do you think the team's run game overall with the backs?
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot of great players, a lot of guys that could do many things with the ball in their hands, so it should be a very exciting show.
Mike, 10 of your 14 receivers are seniors or older. That's got to be nice as a quarterback to know that they're not going to be running around with their heads cut off out there.
Right. Yeah. Our guys have been doing a great job since I got here, trying to make themselves better. And, me, Luke, and the rest of the quarterbacks are doing our job to just push them every day. Even though they're seniors, a lot of them, still got stuff to prove, just like, everybody has stuff to prove. So, we just constantly try to tell them that and constantly trying to make them better each and every day, which can make our job easier.
Everybody talks about a quarterback throwing the football. Best friend is a running game, a good offensive line, a tight end that can get over the middle. How important are those three things to your success?
They're very important. The whole team is important, really. It's not really just singling out little bits and pieces. All 11 on offense is important. We talk about being 12 strong. That means all of our positions, have to do their job, and make the play when their number is called. So I feel like, all 11 are important.
Is there someone that you try and model your game after, or there's something that you think you excel at the most?
I feel like, I just watch, some of the great quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just watch a lot of football, just constantly watching football, seeing how, I can put bits and pieces into my game to be the best me I can be.
What's it like being in a quarterback competition, and how has it made you better?
I just feel like just going out there, and it just makes me drive, push harder each and every day, and being in a competition, and it's it's really been good, honestly, because it just makes me develop each and every day without even thinking about getting any type of complacent or anything like that. So,
Michael, what is the one thing you think you do best on the field? If you could, all the different skills a quarterback has, what do you think you do best?
I don't really like to single out, one single thing of what I can do. I feel like I can do everything, and whatever, coaches want me to do, I feel like I could do it. So I feel like I'm very, very dynamic.
And the experience that you've had, you've played in high-level SEC games before large crowds and won some of those games and certainly played great competition. What does that mean for you now, being in this setting, that you have that as part of your resume?
I mean, it's good. It's always good to have experience. It's always good to, play against great players. But I just feel like, it's just only help me grow, only help me get better. And, it's just a lot more games to play. So, I'm just looking forward to those.
What's something that you think you've really learned from working with Luke so closely? And I'm going to ask him the same question about you. So
Yeah. Honestly, just just trying to, help him just as much as I can, because nobody never gets nothing good out of acting bad or being a bad person. So just trying to help him as much as I can, and he does the same thing, trying to help me as much as he can. Just to make each other better for the team, because at the end of the day, the team is the most important thing.
And then Coach Hartline also mentioned some competition in the wideout room. Are there any receivers that you feel like you've developed a good connection with so far?
I feel like I got a good connection with all of them. They all are out there competing every day. They're all out there, working their tail off to, be the best they can be for me and for Luke and for the rest of the quarterbacks. And, so it's not really one. I'm trying to build a connection with everybody, not just one singular person, because it takes all of us. So.
Is there anything in the off season that you say that you have improved on now going into fall camp?
Just being, just every day working, just be more mature, as a quarterback, just developing myself, any bit of way I can, because I'm not a finished product at all, nowhere close to being a finished product. So just developing myself in all aspects in life, on the field, in the weight room, just in every aspect, just so I could be the best me I could be for the team.
And then how has it been under Coach Hartline so far?
It's been great. His expectations for us are very high. So, he holds us to that standard every single day. And it really makes me, want to come and show up and do my best, in the meeting room, do my best in the weight room, do my best on the field, just in all aspects, do my best in the classroom, because he holds us to that standard every single day. So he really just, it constantly helps me develop me. At the end of the day, development is the most important thing.
And then I have one more question for you. You say that you and Luke push each other. So when it comes down to the competition, do you kind of put that just in the back of your head, or how does that work between the two of you?
Yeah, at the end of the day, me and him both know that, we're trying to be the best we can be for the team. So, besides, we try to be as consistent and, and we just try to bring the juice every day for the guys, and let the coaches, settle the differences, So we focusing on making ourselves better for everybody else. We're going to let the coaches handle that.
And the last thing Coach mentioned was the best thing is when a play works, but it wasn't executed properly.
Yeah.
When that happens in your favor, do you know it, or does he have to tell you, or both? How does it work?
It really goes both ways. The coaches here, our coaches do a great job of always giving us feedback, no matter if it's we did good, we did bad on the play. They constantly, try to develop us during practice, each and every rep. So, it goes feedback both ways.
What would it mean for you to be named the starting quarterback?
It'd just be great, just to, be able to, it'd be great to be able to be named a starting quarterback. But at the end of the day, I just want to be the best I can be for the team, and the whole quarterback room wants to be the best they can be for the team. Thank you very much.
17, Luke Kromenhoff. Take questions for Luke.
Nothing too overly specific. Just in general, how has camp gone for you so far?
It's been great. I feel like the whole team has had a great camp so far. I feel like we've, started off really strong, came out, been on point. We just got to keep it rolling.
And then one thing, as far as you said, the team. He mentioned the hotel. I'm curious how the team is actually coming together. Can you feel it becoming one?
Yeah, no doubt. Just since I got here, we've just continued to get closer and closer. Going through the summer workouts with AT, it was very, very hard, very grueling. So, it brought us all closer together, and I feel like everyone in the locker room is starting to create a really strong bond. So, I feel really good about it.
College football doesn't protect the quarterback like the NFL. Going through 12 games with one quarterback is pretty rare now. How important is it to be not just the number one, but the number two, because you're probably going to get some playing time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Coach Beck talks about it all the time. He's played he's coached multiple seasons where, the backups had to go in. So, I feel like us as a whole room, we all kind of have the mindset of, you never know what's going to happen. We all need to be ready to be able to go succeed and help this team win. So I think everyone has the same mindset of just staying ready, and when your number's called, just having competitive excellence and going and making the play when your number's called.
Before you got up here, Coach was talking about how improved you are, your weight's gone up. Would you agree with him or have any comments that you would add to that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel like, hats off to Coach AT and the strength staff, all of them. I mean, they really pushed me this summer, and, I walked in, I wasn't the biggest guy, and, I've put on a couple pounds. All my metrics have gone up, so I think it was a really big summer for me, and it's really just hats off to Coach AT and their staff.
And then is there anything in the off season that you've come in and tried to improve the most?
Yeah, just really everything, you know what I mean? Like, there's always room for improvement in every aspect of your game. So, I'm just trying to chase excellence in every aspect of my game, and so, whatever it is, I'm just trying to get better all the time.
And then you're chasing that number one spot in the quarterback competition. How does that feel to you? What would it mean to get it as well?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to be the guy at the end of the day. It'd be an honor. But at the end of the day, however it shakes out, I just want to be able to put the team in the best position to win.
Luke, what did last year do for you? I know you didn't see the field that much, but what did it playing for Coach Levy do for you and your development as a quarterback?
Right, it didn't really shake out the way that I would have hoped, but at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity for me to grow in my knowledge of the game. I learned a ton at Mississippi State. Blake Shapen was there. He's a vet, and so I was getting to learn from him. Camario is an unbelievable athlete there too, and obviously Coach Levy's a great offensive mind. So just being able to pick their brains and also improve upon my game of ball knowledge and really just everything. It was a great opportunity.
Luke, what did you know about USF before you came here?
To be honest with you, I didn't really know a whole bunch. I trained with Coach Thompson and Will Hewlett, and Lachlan Hewlett was here last year. And so, I got to pick his brain a little bit about it, and, they were like, the place is amazing, we love it here. But I really didn't know much about it, but, I mean, it's been unbelievable since I've gotten here.
Everybody talks about physical reps. How important is to get those mental reps when you're not in the game, just to go through, okay, if I was in there, this is what I'd be doing?
Absolutely. I mean, it's extremely important. I mean, the first couple of days we were doing two-spot, and, Mike was over there and on one side and I was on the other side, and we went back up in the film room and we watched it, and, the defense was giving us two different looks, even though we were running the same play. So, just being able to be back there even when I'm not in and learn and pick up tendencies on the defense is huge.
Luke, the offensive line is kind of its own little fraternity as it goes, but I've never met a quarterback who didn't want to be an honorary member of that fraternity. What is your relationship like with them?
Yeah, I got a great relationship with all the guys in the offensive line room. Just like you said, they're really a close-knit group. You got dudes like Thomas Schrader, who's, kind of like the leader of it, and he's just an awesome dude to be around, good buddy of mine. But, really all of them, they're great people, great group to be around. They love each other, and, they're at the end of the day, they're willing to go do whatever to help this team win and protect that quarterback. So what's not to love about that?
What's something you've learned from working with Mike and maybe looking at his game?
Yeah, Mike's an unbelievable player. He's very knowledgeable. He's got great accuracy, and he's really just a playmaker. So, just being able to pick his brain on some things like, hey, why did you go here on this play? It's been great just to learn from him and, kind of just pick up on some things that he does that will help improve my game.
And are there any particular receivers you've gotten close to? Coach Hartline mentioned some competition in the wideouts as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think all of our wide receivers are unbelievable players. Obviously there's competition. I think there's competition in every room. I think nobody really has a name starting spot right now. I think everyone's competing. So, just really excited to have all those dudes in that room, and I think that they're all pushing each other really hard, and we got some really good players in that room.
In making your decision to come to USF, what stood out to you the most about Coach Hartline and what he's building here?
Yeah, just right when I stepped off the plane and I was picked up and they were talking to me in the car, and then I got here with my family and, we were doing all the meetings and everything, I could just kind of feel the energy and the passion that they had for this place. I kind of feel like all the things that they were saying and all the things that I was feeling, I felt like this was a great place for me to go and succeed and have a great opportunity here. And I feel like, Coach Hartline and everyone here really just wants to see this program succeed. So I felt like it was a great opportunity for a place for me to be there, not only to get better as a player, but also to be in a successful program.
Luke, you committed to Florida State, I believe, your sophomore year of high school. You went through FSU camps and so forth, had your freshman year there, had a couple starts. Everybody had their opinion about what happened in Tallahassee, but what happened? What bogged down for you that you looked elsewhere to continue your career?
That's a tough one. I would just say, at the end of the day, in me and my family's eyes and my support staff, we felt like, it wasn't really the best place for me anymore. And we felt like we needed to go elsewhere in order to, reach the end goal for myself, which is to, everyone's end goal, to go play in the NFL. So, we felt like it was the best option for me to go explore other places. But, I will say, it was a great opportunity being there. I learned so much. I'm so thankful for that staff. I really enjoyed my time there. And like I said, it was just a great opportunity. Very thankful for them.
Coach Hartline said this quarterback competition has been a healthy competition. What makes it a healthy competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's very competitive. Mike's an unbelievable player. KJ Cooper, he's an unbelievable player. Jaden Bradford's an unbelievable player. And I think, every day we're all in there and we're just continuing to push ourselves. I don't think there's ever been a day where, I haven't been like, man, I got to go. Like, I got to pick it up. Everyone's playing really well. Like, got to keep up. You know what I mean? So I think we all push each other. And I think everyone in there is a phenomenal quarterback. So I think that it keeps it very competitive. And I think that's healthy for all of us, just to be pushed each day in and out. So, yeah.
What do you think is the hardest thing about being a quarterback that some people don't realize?
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough position. There's a lot of different aspects of it. You got dudes like Asani Redwood, and CJ Hicks rushing at you. Those are some scary dudes, you know what I mean? And you got to stay in that pocket and deliver a ball. The difference between a ball being put right on the money or, 3 inches outside it could be a game changer. So, I feel like playing quarterback's a very tough position, which is why, at the end of the day, it's the most desired position. It's a tough one. So I wouldn't have it any other way. I love playing quarterback, and it's been great.
Hey, Luke, you mentioned C.J. Hicks. I wondered if you could elaborate on him. We've all know about his reputation as a 5-star Ohio State guy. What is it about him that makes him special, and what kind of qualities does he bring on the field?
Yeah, I would just say, CJ's mindset is different. I mean, he lives up at this facility. He's here, working on swim moves, different types of things like that. He's up in the film room studying. And CJ's just been an unbelievable dude. He's also a great person in the locker room. And I think that he's a really special player, and he's going to do really special things for us this year.
Anything else for Luke? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.